Hello, Henning Pauli here at HP42, and today I'm standing in a studio that's not made for that, but we'll try. So today, brand new for NAMM. NAMM's next week, but it's pre-NAMM release. We're looking at the brand new ToneX cab. IK is showing you this. It's coming out, as far as I know, in April. I'm going to look at the email I got with some stats in a bit. You might notice the blurry phallic thing between my legs. Don't comment on that yet. I get those comments all the time. Coming in later. So thank you, IK, for trusting in me, of being with it. Language is difficult. One of the people showing this. I've made videos about FRFR, and that's what that is. It's a FRFR. Stands for something full range, flat response, something like that. It's meant to be the kind of cab that you pump a modeler into, or really anything that already kind of has a speaker simulation attached to it, so that it then just gives you that full range sound. Whereas a normal cab, let's say a 12-inch speaker, really shapes the sound. These are not meant to shape it. They're meant to give you the already shaped sound from your modeler, profiler, insert product here. Many of them on the market. Obviously, it pairs beautiful with ToneX, but there's absolutely no special connection between this and ToneX. You could put any modeler in front of it. I happen to put a beautiful white ToneX limited edition in front of it just because. And there it is. You could use any kind of PA speaker, but there are some caveats. I'm using, for example, here in the studio, until now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this now because it really has benefits, an RCF 10-inch, rather expensive, nice wedge. Totally normal for stage use, and you can, of course, because it's a relatively flat response, put your modeler through it. The special thing, as far as they tell me, and as far as my ears tell me, is it has been kind of tweaked to sound more like an actual guitar cab in the room if you were playing a tube amp. Because usually, modelers are fine. They sound good through front of house. They sound good in headphones. They sound good recorded. But they don't really sound like an amp in the room. There's something missing. I'm going to tell you right away, this doesn't have it. But it comes a lot closer than a standard PA speaker or any kind of FRFR that I've tried. Of course, I haven't tried all of them.
Tiny giant lifting thunder fits the mix, louder under, IR load, power flowing, crowd talk steady growing, 6-string screaming, can't ignore, lightweight, yeah, tilted more, hear myself like a roar, unleash beast, no uproar, ToneX cab won't let you down, small but loud shakes the ground, stage tremble, sound profound, breaking rules all around.
It's not cheap. Clocks in at $699 plus tax, maybe $799 without the sale. So let's just call it $800. That's quite pricey. It's not as pricey as the Line 6 offering, which I personally didn't like, and they know that. So let's look at what's special about it. No, before we do that, let's get some sounds in the room first. So what we're doing is, I'm absolutely not plugging this in, which I could. It has an output. But what you're going to get is the modeler on the floor changed through that recorded. So what you're going to hear is the ToneX. That's pointless. There's many videos about the ToneX. We're not recording that. We could close mic it. What's the freaking point? This isn't meant to be close mic'd. Never is it meant to be close mic'd. Ever. You're taking the output into the front of house, and that's what's going to front of house. So miking this is stupid. This is purely for you to hear it and for you to have the feeling and the oomph of an actual cab in the room. It is a personal monitoring system. So the big question is, what does it sound like to us? And for that, I've got the blurry phallic thing between my legs. That is an AEA R88A. It's a very... Can you see the size? Can you see the size? So, it's about this big, okay? She said. Never. It's a stereo ribbon mic of the highest grade, really capturing the room. So that's what you're hearing when I'm playing. So let's get some sounds at the current settings. Now, I don't like that. Not one bit. That's mushy, I love the cleans, but that doesn't sound great. And that's where this thing really is massively tunable. So let's go through some of the stats here. I can read you some dBs and stuff. I didn't memorize that because why would I if I can read it? True, 350 watt RMS, 700 watt peak with audiophile grade power amp and advanced DSP control. Okay, good. Whatever that means. The most compact 12-inch power cap on the market, 12.7 kilogram, 28 pounds. It is very light. It's not going to kill your back. That's great for us old farts. So it's a custom 12-inch selection and a 1-inch high-performance compression driver. We're going to see that in a sec, because you can easily take the front grille off, also for other reasons. 132 dB max SPL for exceptional punch and clarity on stage. 132 dB is jet engine level shit. That's crazy. Don't do that. Programmable, 3-band EQ, custom IR loader with 8 onboard presets and software editor. Not ready yet, but I'll show you some screenshots. They sent me those. Inputs, we go through that. Outputs, we go through that. Durable wood construction. Swappable grill. Swappable. So there is a silver grill and a gold grill that you can get for $39 sold separately and just pop on the front. Okay? Let me play a couple more sounds and show you some product shots so you get the full thing, and then we're going to run through everything here. I like the clean stuff. Let's do that. Come on. Let's look at the top. From right to left, you have the volume, which I have very conservatively now, but it's already pretty freaking loud. Then you've got your presets knobby. And you can clearly see with the LEDs where you are. Now, when you change something, it turns orange and you know that you would have to save. There's a little flash and it shows you that you are on the setting where it was. Very convenient. Then there's the mic tone knob, which is Well, really just tuning it again more to what your input is. One says mic, one says live. I don't know if that's really what's happening, but it's massively tunable like that. And then you've got a 3-band EQ, which again, you really want that to make sure it does translate your sounds the way that a speaker would. Right now, it's too woofy. I'm not the biggest fan, but I can very easily and very quickly adjust that. And when I first plugged it in, I was like, I don't know about this. And then boom, 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 wow. And then you save it. For the cleans, it was fine. For the drives, it was too woofy. Now, I could set up a whole setup for the cleans on preset number 1 and go to preset number 2 and have a mid boost for the leads. So live on stage, I really hear my leads. It's about what I hear, not what's being recorded. On the third one, I could set up a nice rhythm tone. And since the ToneX and most modelers will output MIDI, I could put MIDI into this and with my presets on my modeler, change the way that they are being amplified on stage, not recorded. If you wanted all those settings to be recorded, you could take the output post those settings, but I don't think you would want that. Now, what I cannot show you right now, because it's not ready in the current software, again, release I think is April. Shipping April. The software I just don't have yet. You could download 8 different IRs into this, into each slot, if you wanted that. Turn all the IRs off on your modeler, go in cabless, so to speak, and then apply the IR in there. Why would you want that? Well, there's a big reason for it. The cabs in your modeler sound drastically different, right? There's a lot of low end, not a lot of mids, lots of top end, very, very different frequency responses. And you could switch to a preset, and when you were hearing yourself perfectly, 1 second, all of a sudden on stage, where's my guitar? Where's my guitar? I can't hear it anymore. It's not a great idea. So you could make this sound the same all the time. Make it sound like the one speaker that you would usually have on stage. But you could still, wait, if you're turning the IRs off in there, but then have them there, you would then have to go post because you would want that IR applied to the front of house. Okay, that's the reason to do this. Right now we can't, but later you can if you so choose. And I think it's a good idea to have your cab sound a certain way on stage. And also for the audience, it makes it so much easier for the front of house engineer. Or technically you could have 8 different sounds, but I don't go there. Have one that works, maybe another one for cleans, but that's it. And don't make it hard for the front of house engineer who has your guitar beautifully sitting in the mix and then you're switching to something completely different. He's all of a sudden, where's the guitar? Oh my God, let's rewatch guitar. Stick with the one. That's what I'm saying. Okay, and then the really cool thing on the very left, you've got aux level. And that actually feeds the monitor mix, let's say, back into your monitor speaker. So you are on stage and you can actually say, okay, this is how loud my guitar is, but this is how loud the rest of the band is. Yeah, you could use in-ear monitoring, but if you're using in-ear monitoring, you're probably not going to have this. So that means you can very easily say, oh, I want myself louder than the rest of the band, and you're doing this for yourself. So how loud the band mixes, you decide. How loud you are, you decide on your own speaker. And of course, the way I'm standing now is kind of asinine because I would be standing in front of it, so I would hear it really well. But obviously, if I did that, I would hear it really, really well. Because anything other than bass goes very directional. So if I'm standing here, it goes right into my ear canal. Like a good old Fender Deluxe Reverb. They had this, the Twins had this. Clever and simple, and it works. Nice leather handle. Let's look in the back. So there's power all the way on the left. There's USB for that app to download your IRs. You're probably going to do that once. You can also tweak the knobs in the app, but who in the world wants that? Then there's your input, which is, of course, a combo input with XLR. Then input for aux, which is also a combo input. There is no stereo, which I don't like. But okay, Maybe at that price point, that just wasn't possible. However, I don't know. Would be nice. MIDI in and out. And then the pre-post switch. So if you wanted the internal processing to be applied for the front of house, you would set it to post. Right now we're on pre. Then there's a ground drift in case there's hum. And then there's the XLR output to go to front of house. Because of course, if you are using your XLR output on your modeler to go in there, well, then it can't go front of house. Now, as for the stereo-ness, I don't expect this to be stereo, but it would be nice if I could go in stereo and out stereo, so this becomes my cable hub. However, if you wanted to do that, you would have to have 2 of those. So what about my stereo effects? If I'm only, let's say I'm playing an Axe effects, or even a ToneX, which has stereo. So I'm going in with one side, and the other side, and that one side goes into front of house, and then the other side goes to front of house. I'm literally losing my stereo half. I'm losing the other delay, the other chorus bit, okay? Or maybe stereo tremolo. Sometimes I hear tremolo, sometimes I don't. I'm not super happy about that. It should have had a stereo input and a stereo output. Maybe they're working on a bigger version. This is tiny, it really is. And it's loud and massive. As far as operation goes, it's super simple. You select presets. You probably don't. You probably have one. I recommend that. You click this knob, the preset knob, and now you see input level. Okay, input level is fine. Then you set it up any way you want. And then you save it. Let's set it up for this sound. And I'm saved to number 2. Number 2 is poop, by the way. It's not massively low endy now, so that I don't have the woofiness, but it's very direct. I've got the top end. I can absolutely hear it, which is what you would want. Now this is a different kind of thing. Like, let's say you have a tube amp. The way that you set up the tube amp goes into the speaker. That's the way that it sounds to the front of house, minus some kind of EQing that the mixer guy can do. But here you can tailor the sound so that you are comfortable in what you're hearing, but it's not necessarily what the audience gets, right? Because we're in pre, which means the audience gets the sound that's coming out of the ToneX, so the mix engineer on the board can do what he needs to do to make it sound good, and you can do what you need to do to hear yourself. So that's overdrive specialty sound, and that's it used to be very low endy on this preset. It's still big. It's still very big. It's pretty darn close to an amp and a cab. Closer than the typical Class D power amp into a cab or the typical PA speaker or FRFR. I mean, they know what the fuck they're doing. I'm using IK Multimedia monitor speakers for all my studios. So they know what they're doing. They have quite a bit of experience. It's not like, oh, we might make all this ToneX thing, let's just make a cab. No. They got engineers that know what they're doing. For me, that would be too much low end. And bam, it is safe. Now, of course, you could you could address that with MIDI. I'm gonna kill the mic for a second, probably. I'm gonna see how loud can it get. We're not gonna go all the way because that's the jet engine, but I mean. That's, excuse my French, fucking ridiculous. That wasn't half. I was not at 50%, as they say in France. Holy crap. And at that volume, it pushes air like an actual guitar cab. I'm not going to say game changer, but holy hell. Wow. So... And we can actually pump in the mix signal. In this case is, of course, my good friend Tom James from Elevator Jam Tracks with something in G called Healing Something Bullshit Track. But let's go. And I can hear it from over there, but you can't hear it because I gotta dial it up. And it's off. That's just great. For your sound check, and you're good. At the brain melting volume, This thing feels like a massive cab. Holy freaking ballsack. Awesome. You owe it to yourself to at least check it out if you're playing gigs with modeling direct type equipment. I'm going to say taking like something like the Lion from UA into this is probably a pretty good plexi rig, I would assume. So thanks, IK, for trusting in me with this. I would probably like it with a silver grill. I don't know. That would be cool. You know, you got my address. I'll see you guys at, IK guys, at NAMM. Everyone watching, I'll see you in the next video. And I would put links below, but it's not really available yet, but maybe when you're watching it is. So links below to IK at all applicable stores. Please use them, that supports the channel. And as always, animals at the end.
Oh, ToneX cab won't let you down. Small but loud, shakes the ground. Stage tremble, sound profound. Breaking rules all around. Oh! No one's lost in the echo. Warrior sound and tempo. Tiny frame steals the show. Watch it burn, feel the glow.